This video covers the gold rush to California by both the 49ers and the Chinese, which is Chapter 16, Section 8 and 9. Make sure you read over both the scales and mark on them before and after you complete the sections. Also, you need to keep these things in mind. First, the lesson essential question. What were the motives, hardships, and legacies of the 49ers and the Chinese when they moved west in the 1800s? And the essential questions for sections 8 and 9. Number 1, what was an effect of the California Gold Rush? Number 2, what was the legacy of John Fremont and Zebulon Pike? Describe the experience of many Chinese immigrants in California. And what was a contribution of the Chinese immigrants to the United States? And the vocabulary. The only word is 49ers, which is a term for the people who joined the gold rush in 1849.
In the 1830s, Mexico offered extremely cheap land in California to American ranchers and farmers, which motivated them to move out there. When the Mexican-American War broke out in 1846, Californians revolted from the Mexican rule and created an independent nation.
The California Republic was annexed by the U.S. as a part of the Mexican Cession in 1848. Later, it will become the 31st state of the United States.
The first discovery of gold was in San Francisco on January 24, 1848. This led to a flood of early pioneers, farmers, and immigrants there in 1849. The 49ers, hoping to get riches of their wildest dreams, came from all over the world. With this boom of popularity, the population in the West skyrocketed in only a few months.
Now, let's go back and look at those section essential questions. The first one, what was an effect of the California Gold Rush? Well, the answer to that would be California received its statehood. Because, as you heard in the video, many immigrants from all over the United States and other parts of the world all rushed to California. When they had enough people, they were able to become a state. And number 2, what was the legacy of John C. Fremont and Zebulon Pike? They inspired settlers to move to the west. The next question, describe the experience of many Chinese immigrants in California. They were subjected to prejudice and abuse from the Americans that were living there. And what was the contribution of the Chinese immigrants to the United States? They brought their cultural diversity to the United States, and it spread to all the major cities. Now, let's go over the notebook questions real quick to make sure you have the correct answers. Number 1 in Section 8. Why did many people move to California after 1848? By now, you should know the reason why most people moved to California was because of the gold that was found there. And number 2, list 3 hardships that the 49ers faced. The 49ers faced a difficult journey west, the high prices for everything once they got there, there was no law enforcement, and the hard work of mining for the gold that quickly disappeared, leaving many people with nothing. And question 3. Fill in the speech bubbles to describe the legacy of the 49ers from the perspective of each group. Now, the California Indians, you might put something like, most of my people have died from the disease and war brought by these settlers. For the Californio, their perspective might be, I lost my land to these American settlers. And to the 49er, we now have enough people in California to make it the first state in the West. Those are possible answers you can write down for those 3 groups. And the Section 9 questions. Number 1, what motivated many poor Chinese peasants to travel to California in the 1800s? Reports that they would have great pay, large houses, and fine food and clothing motivated the Chinese to travel to California. Number 2, what hardship faced by the Chinese caused them to leave the mines? And how did some Chinese respond to this hardship? Many Americans abused the Chinese to cause them to leave the mines. Some Chinese moved into California's growing cities to open restaurants and laundries. Others began farming in California's Central Valley. And number 3, draw and label a sketch showing what you think the most important legacy of the Chinese. You can put anything from helping build a large industry in the mining and farming to the cultural diversity of Chinatown. Any of these can be possible answers you put down for this question. As soon as you've completed both scales, marking them before and after, the vocabulary, all the notebook questions for sections 8 and 9, and you've copied down the correct questions and answers for the essential questions, you've completed the packet and it's now ready to be turned in. Make sure you complete the 3-paragraph essay that goes with the packet and turn that in also.